Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I will let people file in just a few more minutes, a couple of minutes here. How you doing, Frankie?
Hey Manny, pretty good. Excited for football Sunday. The four teams that will have a chance to play for the play in the Super Bowl is in a couple hours. So I'm super excited for it today. Just can't wait for to get the
Yeah,
game.
yeah. I'm kind of glad that the politics that was involved in the NFL seemed to kind of taking a back seat. Things stuff kind of cleared up, and now it's I don't know. Seems like a lot of people are just getting back into it. When before there was all this, oh, I'm not going to watch. I ain't going to watch anymore, and I was included in that mess also. But you just can't help but get excited when it comes playoff time.
Yeah, and the thing is that I've I've always been one that let me watch sports that way it takes me away from politics because politics is in our everyday lives
Right.
as we and we try to distract ourselves with sports. So then when the sports game gets political, it's kind of like whoa. And then I ask myself the question, can we separate politics from anything? And with the Colin Kaepernick
Right.
thing, it seemed like if we couldn't for the longest time.
Yeah, it was like here you are trying to get away from politics to get into sports a little bit, just to get a step away from that. But then, boom, there it was. Just and I don't know. Part of it is the networks, like ESPN, couldn't help themselves but to keep plugging it in. It's like, oh, come on, guys, just stop already.
It's ratings.
So today yeah,
It's ratings, unfortunately. So they got to do the clickbait. They have to try and bring their viewers in, but that's the world we live in, huh?
yeah. I think part of the fans got turned off by all of it. And I think sports did lose some people. Um, I don't think it hurt enough to hurt their pocketbooks necessarily, but I think the best thing they could have done was kind of just quit talking about it and just focus on sports itself and the players and the games and stuff like that. Let's see who's on tap. We got the Bills and the Chiefs first, if I'm not mistaken. That's the first game, isn't it?
Packers and Tampa, first game at 2 p.m. on Fox.
Oh, that's right. Oh, I don't know. For some reason, I thought it was the Bills Chiefs. Uh, all right. So, arguably, hang on. We got some fans here. Hey, Hilda. All right, Frankie, good to see you. She said, arguably, maybe arguably, two of the best quarterbacks of all time are going to be in the top whatever are playing in this game right there. Tom Brady, uh, Aaron Rodgers, two different styles. Hey, Jennifer. And, you have Tom Brady who can pull off pretty much anything almost at will. And strategy and knows, I don't know, he can see the future sometimes, knows what to do. But then you got Aaron Rodgers, and against Aaron Rodgers, it's like, well, none of that matters because he can virtually do the same thing. So is this going to come down to whose defense is better?
It's hard to say. You made you
Hey,
made an
Sandra.
you made an interesting point. We have Aaron Rodgers going up against Tom Brady, arguably the best quarterback to play the game. It's going to be a very interesting matchup. Um, it, when you bring it all together, you have two great quarterbacks playing in Lambeau Field in the snow. Tampa being a warm weather climate team, would they be able to play in the frigid tundra in the snow? I think they won't be able to. So that's something that's gonna benefit the Packers. But this is a great game to start off Sunday, playoff Sunday. Two two big ego quarterbacks that they will win at all. That they were willing to win at all costs. So this is going to be a very interesting matchup. The Packers are favored to win, but then again, Manny, you being a Bears fan, I'm sure you would probably side with the Buccaneers, but it's hard to bet against Tom Brady, a six-time winning Super Bowl champion. He's been to 14 conference title games, and he's been
Yeah.
to this would be, if he wins, this would be his 10th Super Bowl if I'm not mistaken. So it's an interesting matchup. You have the Packers, who have a great offense. I think they're number one in the league right now. But then again, you have Tom Brady. This guy, for whatever reason, pulls it off. So I personally like the Packers. The only reason being, Manny, is because of the weather. I don't think Tampa Bay would be able to sustain, or they're not used to it. They're from Tampa. So we'll see how this goes. But this is going to be a very interesting matchup.
Give me 1 second here. I'm having a little bit of hold on a second. Give me a second here. Hold on. Give me a second here. I'm having a malfunction on my end here.
No worries. Where does Watson land? I'm disgusted at my Texans. There's been an argument, Ozzy, that the ownership weren't listening to Watson's concerns. He wanted to take part in the hiring of the general manager, which the Texans again hired the GM, or somebody in personnel from the New England Patriots. He spoke with ownership before they made that move, and he said, "Hey, I want to be part of picking who will be our next GM and who will be our next head coach." And for whatever reason, they didn't listen to their franchise quarterback, and that has caused a strain on their relationship. We have heard that Watson wants, or has been wanting, the offensive coordinator from the Kansas City Chiefs, Eric Bieniemy, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, the offensive coordinator, who has interviewed multiple times throughout these past years due to the success of the Kansas City Chiefs. And it's been interesting that the Texans didn't adhere to Watson's wants, desires, moving forward with the franchise. So where does he land? Right now, I don't think that he will play with the Houston Texans again. We have heard that the Texans are actively seeking Eric Bieniemy to be their next head coach, along with Leslie Frazier, the defensive coordinator from the Buffalo Bills. So will they do everything possible to give Watson what he wants? Hey, you wanted this head coach? Here it is. But supposedly Watson says, you know what? I'm done. I don't want no part of this. So where do I think he lands? I hope the Jets. The Jets have a lot to give. And the interesting thing, Ozzy, is that I would not trade for Watson. Watson is on his second ACL tear, if I'm not mistaken. He tore it once in Clemson, and I think he tore it again with the Texans. So I think the Jets, being as desperate as they are, they have the second pick, if I'm not mistaken. So I think the Jets will do everything possible. They'll probably give up 3 first-rounders for Watson. They might even give up Darnold, their franchise quarterback. So I see the Jets. Taking him. I don't think the Colts. I don't think he'll be traded to a division rival. So that's something to look ahead. I think Watson has played his last snap with the Houston Texans, unfortunately. Luis has a comment. If the Bucs defense shows them, Tom will win. Bucs defense won the game against the Saints. Tom is a GOAT, but late in his career, his defense has saved him. I agree. It's going to be hard. Hey, Manny, Luis had a comment about the Bucks defense. How last game against the Saints, they're the ones that wanted for them. Um, I agree. It's going to be hard for the Packers to move the ball. But then again, they are the number one. They are the number one offense. So we'll see how that goes, Luis.
All right, yeah, I apologize about that. I had a major technical malfunction. I had to restart my system. Paul says, Frankie, good to see you. If the Bucks, this is the one you're talking about, right? If the Bucks defense shows them, Tom will win. Yep. Paul says, the culture coach, pastor, also from the Patriots. He must go or we will suck for a decade. Let's see. Eddie Torino, I got my Packers say, remember Brady, Gronk are used to that cold weather. Yeah, this is true. Brown is out for the Bucks. That's a good thing. Packers defense needs to play their best game in order to win today. Welcome back, Frankie. Good to see you, man. Yeah, so let's talk about weather. Watson will beat the Lions or the Bears. Bears? I don't know, man.
Hey, Manny, would you like to see that? Would you like to see Watson with the Bears, or are you going to give him a home? Are you going to give Trubisky one more year?
Oh no, Trubisky's got to go. I heard he was gone already. Or is that just a flaming rumor or what?
They say he's gone, but he comes back.
I don't know. I think Watson at this point, any big name has got to help. We need so many things. It's not even funny. You know, I make fun of the Cowboys. I'm not a Cowboys fan at all, but my Bears suck just as bad. So I'm no one to talk really. Hey, Kanina. Welcome back, Frankie. Fausto, how you doing? Aren't the Cowboys playing today? What time? Yeah. Yeah, they're playing at what channel are they on? Channel 000?
Too soon, Fausto, too soon. Manny, regarding the weather, do you really think that makes a big difference? You have a team that's used to playing in the cold, playing at home, and a team like Tampa, who may not be used to the cold weather. Do you think that's a big advantage?
I don't know if I'll factor in like a huge portion of it, but if it's really cold, yeah, I mean the cold weather guys are a little more, I don't know, comfortable with it. They don't freak out as much as you get players that play in the warm. I mean, I know they can play in any kind of weather. I'm not trying to make an excuse, but when you got somebody going, damn, it's freaking cold over here. It's already in their head. And if they're not prepared just right, I'm sure they are, but you got to dress with the cold, and it can affect you, especially a quarterback. You're not playing enough. You're not out there enough. You start to get stiff.
I agree. And the thing is that for me, being at home, these guys are used to this. Come December, January, these guys, I'm sure they practice outside just so they can get their bodies used to it. Again, there was that comment made by Eddie that Brady has a very good record. I think it's something like 13-2 in the cold, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but he has a very good record. But I'm looking at the weapons around him. Are they? Will they be able to be as successful compared to them playing in a dome, compared to them playing in 70-degree weather in Tampa? So I think this is going to be a huge factor in this game. The weather, are they going to be able to sustain the frigid cold? And I think sooner or later that's going to beat down on their bodies because how can you really train for that, Manny? You're in Tampa, you can't really train for the cold, really.
Yeah, you can. The only thing they could have done possibly is in that off time they had, which was not a long time, was go to a cold weather city, and that's where they have their workouts and their practices and everything. That's the only thing. So it won't be that much of a shocker. I mean, if they're there, if they stayed in the 80-degree weather the entire time, and then just yesterday, a couple days ago, I imagine they arrived, got to the cold, and it's a shock to the system. Hopefully they had enough time to acclimate,
And how it's hard, how can you acclimate to that weather? One thing, Manny, I do want to ask you is, who has more to lose from the, or I'm sorry, who has more to gain from this? Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady? Tom Brady has 6 Super Bowl rings. Aaron Rodgers has 1. Does Tom Brady benefit more because this is his first game in the NFC? His
Yeah.
first year, if he wins, he would take his brand new team to the Super Bowl in his first year. Everybody already says that he's the greatest of all time. Would this just cement it, or would it benefit Aaron Rodgers more because he only has 1 ring?
Yeah, you know what? I think it'll benefit both in their own way. For Tom Brady, a different team, different league. If he can win here, I mean that'll a little more cement to the greatest of all time title. You know, wherever he goes, he can do a championship, pretty much. Aaron Rodgers, it'll benefit him more if he can get this team back to and get them a second title, a second Super Bowl for him anyway. That'll be huge for him personally. It'll be huge for him. For Brady, I think it'll just cement him a little bit more as one of the greatest of all time. Hey, he left the Patriots a winning team. Some people thought, oh well, he can't win without that team, but here he is, Tampa Bay. Look where we are. I think that'll say a lot for him.
So can we say without a doubt that Bill Belichick needed Tom Brady? Tom Brady did not need Bill Belichick.
100%.
Manny?
100%.
And that's the weird thing, because you just touched on it, that the Patriots, it was the system, it was the organization, and you take Tom Brady out of that and look at the success that he's having. So this says a lot about Tom Brady as a player, that it's not an organization. In my opinion, it's not an organization that makes the team. Right. I would dare say that it's player, especially the quarterback, that makes the team.
Yeah, I mean, you get somebody like Brady who obviously can adapt. He went somewhere else. I mean, not just within his league. He's in a different league, different climate, just different everything, and we're still here. So I think that says a lot for. It's not just the franchise. He didn't need the franchise. The franchise needed him, and he is proving that. And with a win today, like I said, that's gonna just it'll validate his greatest of all time. Well, I know he's not giving it to himself, but it'll validate that he is one of the greatest of all time. And not to bring down Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has a good player in his own right. He's got nothing to be ashamed of, or nothing to look up to when he's talking about Brady. But he's got, I don't know, I think he's got a little more to prove, that he's able to take his team to the next step and just keep him there. He gets close a lot, but it's not the same as having 6.
Manny, this is his 14th championship game. He's been to 14 games that if he wins it, he goes to the Super Bowl. Many players don't even get 1 or 2 chances to go. So
yeah,
for him to be a part of this is very historic.
Yeah.
And if I could answer Galarza's comment here,
yeah,
you can't say that Tom Brady stepped into a good team. Belichick didn't inherit a good player. I would disagree, Galarza, because let's look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year when they had Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's Winston.
Winston. They had the same team. Again, they didn't have Gronk, they didn't have Brady, they didn't have Antonio Brown. But besides that, they had the same offense. Their defense was very good. So I would make the argument that Tom Brady, the Buccaneers had a great team before. And with Bill Belichick, it was more like role players. So, I think it's the player that makes the team. I don't think it's the team in itself, because you need that one good player. And the Patriots, I think it was just Cam Newton. You have the AFC East, where the Jets are horrible. The Bills, had an amazing year this year. Miami as well. But to me, that was the division for the Patriots to win. It was just Cam Newton. Cam Newton has regressed, unfortunately, from his MVP year back in 2015.
Yeah, next comment here. It is slightly off topic, but something that happened. Thoughts on the Emmanuel Duron, the player, that high school player that attacked the referee? Remember, I'm sure you're fully aware of that. What are your thoughts on that when it happened, or your thoughts afterwards? I know afterwards that he did sometime afterward, a video apology with his parents on either side. And anyway, what is your thought on that whole scenario when that happened?
I got into some discussions with my friends. I'm not condoning what the young man did. Obviously, it was assault. We don't condone that in sports. I think everybody who watches sports is all for, being respectful of others. We understand that sometimes in the heat of the moment, but that's uncalled for. But he's an 18-year-old. I try and put myself in his position. Was I mentally, responsible? Was I? It's hard for us to say, oh, he's bad, or throw the book at him, or he's an 18-year-old kid. And Manny, if I do something, when I got in trouble, it made local news. This kid made world news, if I'm not mistaken. He was out on TMZ, on Yahoo, on
ESPN. It was everywhere. Yeah,
he was everywhere, Manny. So let's just try and put ourselves in his position. That's brutal. That's brutal for an 18-year-old kid, and he didn't have that mental capacity to, withstand all that. And I'm not saying, oh, poor him. He did nothing wrong. No, I'm not condoning what he did. He did something very, very, very horrible. I like to believe that we're able to atone for our transgressions, that we are hopefully able to one day right that wrong. I do not want to see this young man deal with this for the rest of his life. Obviously, that's what he's going to be known for. But, I want him to learn from it. Will he be able to ever play sports again? Probably not. But at the end of the day, sports are sports and life is life. So, I don't condone from what he did. But at the end of the day, he's an 18-year-old kid. And if he was my kid, I would want him to learn from this experience and move on with life.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is something that can follow him and do some damage if he's trying to get into advanced sports. And in my opinion, he should have come out right away, whether on video or in a press conference, like immediately say, "Hey, I'm sorry, I lost my temper. I apologize." But it took a few days for that to happen, and that's why a lot of people are saying, "This thing was," they're making him do it, and his parents didn't look real happy when they were sitting there next to him. So I think they were pretty much say, "Yeah, we're not happy to be sitting here, but you have to do this." And I think it was too little, too late. And I think if for that reason alone, I think it's probably damaged his sports, his at least athletic in collegiate anyway. I know there were rumors that he had rides or scholarships to play somewhere. I don't know if we ever got confirmation of that. You know anything about that at all?
Yeah, he was a defensive player of the year the previous year. He was a stud. He was destined to play ball at the next level. But unfortunately, this incident happened. And Fausto may be correct. This was his second incident. I think the first one was in a soccer game.
Hey, Marissa.
Hey, Marissa, how's it going? I think his first incident was at a soccer game, and there was that. I think that's why they fired the coach, or the coach got some sort of reprimand, because they never addressed the issue. He had anger issues. He had some previous incidents were kind of sketchy, and the district or the team never really addressed it. But then again, we see this with all studs on the team. They get away with anything. They don't attend classes. They get favorable grading so they can play ball. So we see this in its totality, and it's just bad. Again, sports isn't everything, Manny, but high school football is very serious. These coaches
Yeah.
get paid. These coaches get paid six figures sometimes, and they must win. So I can see it from both sides, but unfortunately, it backfired on everybody involved.
Yeah, you're not wrong when you're saying in Texas. I don't know about any other state. In Texas, college high school football is a big deal. They don't make a movie and a TV series out of it if it's not.
It's not big.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody hasn't not seen that movie yet, Friday Night Lights, or the TV series Friday Night Lights. In fact, the TV series they even filmed here in Brownsville, if you remember that. One
Is
of
that
the
right?
oh yeah, one
Wow.
of the episodes. There's a kid who's in a wheelchair. He got paralyzed, I think, from a hit, and somebody told him about a magic treatment in Mexico. So they made downtown. They tried to make downtown Brownsville look like Matamoros or somewhere in Mexico. And I might have to look up that see what episode that was. But yeah, that was a whole big production. They hired just regular people to be extras, and they paid everybody to be extras and stuff walking around. They wanted you to look Mexican. They said.
But don't we all look Mexican here, or is there
Apparently not.
some?
Apparently not enough. They wanted hats, sombreros and this kind of thing, and the ladies, the colorful dresses or the things that they wear, and yeah, it was quite amusing. I'll see if I can look up that episode and let everybody know what that is. But yeah, Friday Night Lights, a TV series, was one of the episodes was filmed here in Brownsville. So let's talk about, since we're on that first game, defense. Let me ask you this: you got Brady who can pull off anything, and you get Aaron Rodgers who can pull off anything. So let's say they kind of equal out almost in their own way. Where does the defenses stand? What do you think defensively? Who's got the edge?
That's hard. On paper, I would say the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a better defense, but then again, they're. Also, Luis, how's it going? Too soon. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they have a safety, Winfield or Winston. I forget his name. His dad played in the NFL. Winston Jr. I think he has a bad ankle. So again, the Packers offense, the receivers, they're amazing. So on paper, I would say the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have the slight edge over the Green Bay Packers. But then again, I go back to the same thing, Manny. It's the weather. I think this weather is really going to determine the winner today. So on paper, I would say the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have the slight edge over the Packers, but I tend to say that the weather's going to help the Packers in this game.
So basically, you're saying if not anything, home field advantage is going to help the Packers. Just being their home, it's cold, and they're okay with that.
I agree. Yes. The home field advantage, the weather, the snow, it's going to favor the team that is used to playing, used to practicing in that weather.
Yeah. When you guys think sports will go back to normal, if ever? Snoopy's asking. I was going to talk to you about that also, since they came up now. So with COVID, I don't know. I think the first when all this first started and teams started getting back out there to play, seems like there was a lot more infections going around, among the teams and the players, and it seemed like all of a sudden. Not all of a sudden, maybe, but either they've really got it under control, systematically under control, or I don't know. I mean, are they not saying things that somebody's infected? It just seems like in the sports world anyway, I haven't heard about any infections recently.
The NBA last year did a good job of keeping everybody in a bubble. And I think they were able to allow the season to go through to the end. I honestly think that we won't come back into some sort of normalcy until 2022. As we know, Manny, the government is doing everything possible to pump out those vaccines. But
Yeah.
even then, I still don't think that once a large portion of the United States gets that vaccine, what are the ramifications of it? What how is the body going to respond? So I think we won't come back to some sort of normalcy until 2022. I hate to say this, but I don't want our youth to have sports, and this is bad because I love sports. I'm a sports junkie. I'm okay with the pros doing it because they're a multi-billion-dollar industry that are able to protect their players and make sure that they're
Yeah.
and tested on a daily basis. But we're not able to guarantee that for our youth. So I personally, Manny, I don't know about you, but I don't think we will come back into some sort of normalcy where we have large crowds in the stadiums until 2022.
Yeah. So I'm watching. Every time I look to my right, well, it looks like I'm looking to my right. I'm like you looking to my left. Watching the hockey game, and the stand. They're playing in Chicago, and it's just empty. I mean, completely empty. I know some of the football games last week and the week before, there were people in the crowds. I guess they're starting to let fans in little by little. Uh, I think that's important as a nation. Do you remember when September 11th happened and everything just shut down? Everything was off. Everything was gone. There were no planes in the sky. It was something amazing. There was not a single airplane in the sky for a couple of weeks straight. Stadiums were shut down. Sports games were shut down. And then finally, if I'm not mistaken, it was Mayor Giuliani in New York who said, let's play ball and go back. And I think the fans and people needed that as a country to heal, and sports was a good way of doing that. And I think, if people can be responsible, like I said, I haven't heard of a lot of infections going on, within the teams, within the leagues. Maybe it's not a bad idea to let people, and there's going to be the few, I know, don't jump on me. There's going to be the few who they don't care. They don't mask or whatever, but I think it's, give the fans the benefit of the doubt. Let's try to do this responsibly, and let's get the crowds back into the stadium. I think we need that right now.
I agree. I love sports. It helps us, get away from all our troubles and problems and things like that. Interesting to note, Manny, the Packers will be having anywhere from 6,000 to 8,000 in the stands.
Thanks,
when
Patty.
When you compare that to the Kansas City Chiefs, the Chiefs will have somewhere between 20 and 30,000 in their stadium, which to me is kind of crazy, especially right now. I don't know. Well, from what I've been hearing and speaking to some of my nurse friends that are nurses and doctors, they say that there is a rise in positive cases. So it's going to be interesting to see whenever you're watching the game. Look at the difference between the Packers game and the Chiefs game. The Packers are only going to have 6,000 people, and when you look at the Chiefs game, it's going to have 20,000 people. So just something to watch.
Yeah. Why don't we flip over to the next game? We already covered the Pack, and so your pick for the Pack in Tampa Bay.
I have the Packers. I hate to say this. I have the Packers 31, Tampa Bay 24. I have this a high scoring game. The Packers by a touchdown. I hate to go against Tom Brady, but that's my pick. Packers by 7.
Yeah, being a Bears fan, it's a law that I'm not supposed to root for the Green Bay Packers. And I don't know, I see it more as rooting for the home league than that team. I'm going to go with the Packers and Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers has been through a lot. I think if he can come out of this game on top and take their team to that next level, personally for his career, that will help him out. And I guess I'm rooting for that. Brady's got a bunch already, and he may take this one as well. He's almost a shoe-in to say, yeah, the Bucs should take it. But he's been there a bunch of times. I don't know. I'm one of those. Yeah, it's again. I guess I'm rooting for Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Excuse me. So scores. I'm thinking this is going to be a really low scoring game. I don't know. I'm thinking 21-17, 21-20, even something like that. So I'm Green Bay Packers. Okay. Ding. All right. Buffalo and the Chiefs. Buffalo and the Chiefs. They're coming up at 5 o'clock. Is that right? Right after the first game. Yeah, we'll get into this too in a minute, guys. Yeah, we'll go back to the UFC thing last night.
Buffalo,
Packers and Chiefs. Yeah, go ahead.
Buffalo and the Chiefs. Oh man, this is gonna be a good game. They did meet up in the regular season, and I think the Chiefs won 26-17, if I'm not mistaken. I think things are different. I think momentum is with the Buffalo Bills. They've been playing amazing these past few weeks. I'll be rooting for the Buffalo Bills. I think this is the start of a new era. We've already seen the era of Patrick Mahomes, and now I think the world is going to see the Buffalo Bills and their quarterback, their young quarterback, take that next step. It's going to be interesting because we haven't seen the Buffalo Bills since the 90s in this competitive atmosphere. They made 3 or 4 Super Bowl trips, and I think the Cowboys beat them in 2. So this is Josh Allen's year, in my opinion. They have Stephon Diggs, who is an awesome wide receiver. Their defense is pretty well. Josh Norman on the defensive side, White as the other corner, Glover from the University of Houston, Oliver from the University of Houston as a defensive tackle. So I like the Buffalo Bills in this game. Manny, we also have to remember Patrick Mahomes is coming from a game where he was concussed.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Yeah, I was saying, does that factor into your decision? It does to mine because, I mean, Mahomes is a dynamic guy, but he just got beamed, and he's coming off of that. Just barely came off of the from that concussion watch. But I mean, he takes another hit like that, and he's done for the game. They're not going to keep him in there, especially since this just happened last week, also.
And if you remember, Manny, that was scary because his knees buckled. He was out of it.
Yep.
He was like a horse on ice. He was out of it. So in a regular season matchup, he wouldn't be playing this game. He would probably be out 2, maybe 3 weeks.
Right. Sit it out.
Because with other body parts, your knee, your hands, you're able to see, the severeness of the injury. With your head, you don't. And that's the scary part. That's the scary part because, what if he is one hit away? And football is one hit away from being injured for the rest of your life. But I think this being the biggest game before the Super Bowl, a lot of money's at stake. He has to play, and that's the unfortunate part. But I do agree with Fausto that he was rattled the last game, and if he gets hit, one good hit in the upper body in the head area, and Manny, this is gonna sound very bad. But if I'm the defensive coach for the Buffalo Bills, and this sounds horrible, and I will probably get in trouble for it.
And what you would say?
I will say you hit him in the head.
Target practice.
I don't care if you get a 15-yard penalty. This is our biggest game. We want that backup in there. So you do everything possible to get Mahomes out of that game. And they're going to be hunting for him. They're going to be hunting for him.
They're getting a little pile up, and he's going to get an elbow here that the crowd can't see, the refs can't see, or a knee or a foot's going to hit the helmet. I mean, that kind of stuff is going to happen, especially if they do get a chance to sack and jump on top of him. Unfortunately, that's the reality of what goes on in that pile that you can't see. I go back to talking baseball just for a second. Chris Bryant from the Chicago Cubs, he got beamed in the head. couple years ago. And ever since then, since he came back, he's never been the same. You could tell that there's a fear. It's just, you can't help it. You got a 98 mile per hour fastball coming at your head and you get hit. And that stigma, I mean, that stays with you. And he's never, in my opinion, he's never been the same. And I think, kind of the same for Patrick Mahomes. They're going to be really careful with him, and he's going to be very selective, at what he does, the plays he runs, or how he runs them. I think that's going to be in the back of his head. His head is going to be in the back of his head, and I think that's going to affect how he plays. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe he's a young guy. Maybe he can shake it off and just give it his 110% like he normally does. But that is something scary to think about. Go Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes says, "Hey Manny, y'all need to interview the female sportscaster on Channel 5. Interesting to see a female talk about sports. She is well versed in the field of sports." Yep, I have to definitely take a look at that. What else you got on? All right, so your prediction for the second game. Obviously, you're going Buffalo.
I'm going Buffalo. I think it's time for a new team to come up, and I feel like if the NFL is pushing Josh Allen onto us a little bit more, we already have the Kansas City Chiefs as reigning Super Bowl champions. We already have that. Kansas City hadn't won a Super Bowl in God knows how many years, since the 50s, if I'm not mistaken. Now I think the NFL wants somebody different. Now I think the NFL is going to be pushing for Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, because when's the last time the Bills won? I don't even think they've won a Super Bowl. So I honestly think that the NFL will be doing everything in their power to make sure that the Buffalo Bills get to that Super Bowl. And I would even dare say that they're going to win it all. So I have the Buffalo Bills winning. It's going to be a close game in my opinion. I think it's going to come down to the last 5 minutes of the game. The Buffalo Bills will be struggling to run the ball against the Kansas City Chiefs. So I think they're going to be relying on their quarterback Josh Allen throughout the whole game. But I see him prevailing, and I see the Buffalo Bills in a close game, 27-24 type of game.
Man, I'm thinking Josh Allen. I don't know. I think if he can have a breakout game today, I think the dude is going to pass for over 300 yards today. I think they're going to keep that ball in the air. I did read this thing where it says the Bills have dropped back-to-back pass 73% of the time this postseason. And that's a lot. Dropping back-to-back passes. That's not good. Hang on, I got a comment here from Fausto. Bills Eagles, boy, I love little Super Bowls. I used to like watching Jim Kelly play. I thought if they can't do it then, and that was a while ago. I don't know. I'm tossed up on this one just a little bit. I'm going to go with Buffalo also. I think and that's not because it's just the NFL wants it that way necessarily. I just think Mahomes is a little too iffy on the head thing. I'm afraid one more hit can take him out easy. I think he's going to play a little cautiously. And I think Josh Allen, I think he's hungrier. I don't know. I just got a feeling about Buffalo. So I'm going Green Bay and Buffalo. How's that? Is that what you got? That's what you got.
That's exactly. Those are my picks for today. Green Bay and Buffalo.
All right, it's almost game time here. Anybody doing anything special for the football games? Just watching, or you're just gonna order wings, or make wings, or cook out, or not do anything? Tacos? I don't know. Frankie, what are you doing? So you gonna do anything special for the games?
No, nothing really. Just gonna hang out and enjoy enjoy the games. Maybe eat some steak while watching the game. But other than that, I wait till Super Bowl to really have. To me, Super Bowl is like a holiday. Super Bowl is like one of those things where that and the World Cup. The World Cup, I go all out. I'm there all day watching the games. Super Bowl, same thing. It's an all-day affair. I don't change the channel all day Sunday. Either barbecue, pizza, wings, things like that. But I'll just be hanging out today, enjoying the games. Might eat some steak. Just relax and be rooting for my two picks today.
Yep, game time is coming up. Predictions are in. You guys that are watching, whoever's left here, we've got I don't know. Tell us what your predictions are. We're in agreement. Green Bay and Buffalo for the wins today and for the Super Bowl. I see a lot of Green Bay Packer comments that were up there. Is that what you guys are thinking? The Green Bay Packers? What about Buffalo and Kansas City? I haven't seen too many of those comments up there, except for one. Yeah, you know what? I'm hoping. I don't know. There was a comment. Let me go back to this comment for a second. Unpopular opinion. I think it's wrong to have too many people in the stadium right now. Give it another year after more get vaccinated. I agree, and I'm thinking that's why this is a good. It's the end of the season. In a couple of weeks, the season will be over. I think, I'm more concerned with baseball. Obviously, basketball is indoors. Any outdoor sports, I'm a little less worried about. So I'm hoping by football. When is spring training? When is spring camp for football? That's in the late summer, isn't it?
August, September, yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping by that time more and more people are vaccinated. Maybe we can create some kind of a herd immunity now that everybody's vaccinated, and we can get back to normal. For this next NFL season. Indoor sports, I think it'll be a little different. It's a little tougher to keep everybody indoors. I mean, just a common sense stuff, air circulation. At least outside, you're outside. For baseball, same thing. I wonder if they're going to limit how many fans get into the stadiums and that kind of thing. Yeah, COVID has really messed things up in a lot of different areas of life for everybody. But we need sports back to get somewhat back to normal. And we'll see. Maybe this is we'll see what 2021 brings. And what about Super Bowl winner? You got a prediction yet, or you want to wait for a different show?
Nah,
I'm
glad to be back on the tube. I think we should wait and maybe do another show, and we'll give our Super Bowl picks. That way, we'll see who's in the big dance and give our predictions.
And we'll see how it goes. Copy that. Yeah, we'll do the show the week before the Super Bowl in that off time, and we'll take it from there. All right. Anything else we want to talk about? Did we cover everybody's comments here? Oh, UFC last night, dude. When I saw that clip, I couldn't watch the game. I mean the fight, but I saw the photograph of him laying down there, and I was like, "What?" I could not believe it. Were you able to watch it?
I was watching it. My friend, and don't call me cheap. I was out with friends, and I FaceTime one of my friends to show me the fight. So I was watching it from my phone while my friend was FaceTiming me. So Warley, thank you so much for helping me out. You came in clutch. I think that was a shocker. I think everyone anticipated Conor McGregor to come in and dominate. He fought Poirier. I'm not sure I'm mispronouncing his name 7 years ago, and he destroyed him. But then again, we all like trilogies. Trilogies make more money. So will people watch it again? I'm sure they will. So they always say, Manny, that boxing, that UFC is kind of rigged. It's a way to keep our interest going. But
yeah,
nothing against Poirier, but I honestly think that this was already in the books.
So what round was that?
Second.
Oh man,
second round.
So my question is, what impact is this going to have on his Pacquiao match that's supposed to be coming up?
I think that will be there, because in boxing there isn't that many besides Ryan Garcia and Tank. there isn't that many. There isn't that many big name fights out there, and McGregor sells. People will
Yeah.
watch. Pac-Man has a large following. He's a philanthropist. He's a senator, or a congressman in the Philippines.
Yeah.
He,
Right.
he's beloved by a lot of people. So people will watch Manny Pacquiao fight. Now, if you put him against Conor McGregor, that's another 50 to 75, possibly $100 million to each fighter. So I don't think that will really derail that. What I think that the UFC is going to do is going to do a third fight with Poirier, or possibly do a third fight with Nate Diaz. I think that
Mhm.
will help both of them salvage their image, and the winner, will probably eventually fight Khabib um, down the road. But I do feel that that Pac-Man and McGregor will still be something that the fans would want to watch in the near future.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what this does. Again, I hope it's not rigged. I hope none of the stuff is rigged. I mean, you would think even if they rigged it, you think they'd let it go on a few more rounds and get people to feel like they got their money's worth, right? But if not, if all this is legit, I mean, you gotta think that this took a hit to McGregor's confidence. If not anything else, embarrassing. Plus all the memes that started coming out there with him in a blanket sleeping down there, and Bernie Sanders, headlocking him and all this stuff. Some of those were hilarious. But I mean, it's got to have taken a hit to his confidence.
Carlos, the odds were McGregor was 3-1 odds, so you have to bet $3 to win one on McGregor. So McGregor was favored to win by a huge margin. Now, this is what I say: McGregor is already worth $100 million. He's already invested in in a whiskey bottle, which has made him lots of money. So I don't think that he's as hungry. I don't think he's as hungry as he once was when he. Hey, how's it going? Miss you, man. I don't think he's as hungry as he once was coming up. He's already made his millions, and what
Yeah.
does it affect his ego? I think it does. It doesn't affect. It would affect anybody's ego, but at the end of the day, he's got $100 million. So I don't know. I think he'll be the loudmouth that he is, the showboat. Being cocky. I don't think that will change him.
Yeah. See, and I see a guy like him, and I compare him to a guy like Manny Pacquiao. Now, Manny also has got a ton of money already. I mean, he's beyond successful. But from what I've seen regarding Manny the last years, decade or more, I think for him it's more the pride thing is there, and he really wants to win, not just not a showboat, not just to do a show for, not necessarily for the show of it, but I think he would like to win just to prove to himself that that he can still win. I think that'll be a good fight.
Yeah, I'm sure people will pay to see. Who wouldn't want to see that? If tons of people tuned in for the McGregor and Mayweather fight, I'm sure they'll pay. I don't think it will make as much money as the Mayweather McGregor fight, but I would dare say that each fighter would make an easy 50 million from that fight.
Yeah, most likely that's what it's going to be. Well, what was that pay-per-view? Any idea what that cost if you wanted to watch that? I haven't purchased a pay-per-view in 25 years.
The one yesterday or the one McGregor?
Yeah, last night's.
$85, if I'm not mistaken.
Holy cow. And were there any of the other fights any good that led up to it?
They were several fights. The one before was a knockout in the first round, if I'm not mistaken. I forget the names of the fighters, but yeah, it was a good lineup. The prelims at 7 p.m. or 7 p.m. Central that started were also very good. So all in all, it was a good lineup. And again, they're fighting in Abu Dhabi in Fight Island. So this is something that the UFC has been pumping out a lot more fights over there. So UFC has a real good thing going on right now.
It's awesome. A lot going on these days. Watching my Blackhawks here. So far, they're winning. They've been having a tough beginning of the season. For those of you who watch hockey, I was telling Frankie, if you haven't been to a hockey game, it's different to be there in person than to watch it on TV. Try to get to one. I know it's hard down here. There's not much hockey, but you'd have to go to Dallas, I imagine, to get a hockey game. Worth the investment. Just check it out. You'll get hooked. Let's see. What else? Anything else? Anything in closing? All right. So we're going to have another show later after, I don't know, next week, couple of weeks. We'll see. Be before the Super Bowl. And good discussion. Frankie, man, nice to have you back on the air. Nice to see you again.
Thanks for the invite, Manny. See you soon, man.
Everybody take care. Have a great Sunday. Thanks for tuning in. Those who did. If not, you can pass this around and they can watch again, watch the show later. For those of you who haven't done so yet, please give my page a like. And I'm also on YouTube, so give us a subscribe. And you know the game. We're trying to get to the 100. Besides that, everyone, have a good day. Have a good Sunday. Have a good rest of the week. And we'll be in touch, you guys.